Yo, what's good, good people? I welcome you back again to another podcast presentation of Yosef's 2 cents. Tonight, I want to share with you about men being harassed in the workplace. The anti-man and anti-boy campaign continues. This time, it is being taken to the workplace. And I'm going to share with you what I have had to encounter along with one of my nephews as well. As always, I am your man, Yosef X. And let us sit down and let us reason together while I consult my tribe. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few moments. All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. I am honored to be back with you all again for another podcast presentation of Yosef's 2 cents. We are multi-streaming tonight, both on Facebook and YouTube, and we are recording on Anchor and Spotify. And I see that a few of you, well, it was a few of you that came on. Brother Barron and Lady Marla, good evening to the both of you. Thank you so much for joining us again. I hope all of you are having a beautiful and fantastic Sunday evening. Before I go any further, I would like to ask, can you all hear me loud and clear? And am I going in and out, in and out, in and out? I figured I would try something different with this brand new platform. Let's see who else has just joined us. Good evening to you, Sister James. Thank you for joining us as well, you and your husband as well. So you all can hear me. I'm not going. Okay, good, good. I wanted to make sure that you all could hear me loud and clear, because I know the last time I was on this platform, I was having some problems. But it is good to be with you all on this Sunday evening. Peace and blessings be upon you. There's one more disclaimer that I would like to present to you, and that is this. This is not our religious worship service. And it's not really religious, but this is not our worship celebration. This is my secular podcast, Yosef's 2 Cents, where I talk about things that are in the secular community and not necessarily of the sacred. Although, however, I will not omit the salvific or the spiritual, because if you think about it, in a way, the sacred and the secular, depending on the context, it is indeed Siamese twins of one another. So, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. Listen, you all have heard me protest vigorously, militantly, defiantly about the anti-man, anti-boy campaign. It has now become a crime, quote unquote, a crime to be a man and to be masculine. Let's see. Sister James says, my son is listening to me. Okay. Well, good evening to you too, sir. Thank you for joining the fray. Happy to have you with us. But there is a anti-man, anti-boy, anti-masculinity campaign. And that has been going on for too long. And it has spilled over into the workplace for all men. I say this because a few days back, I had beef. I had strife. I had an issue with some toxic and narcissistic female failure at the airport that I work at. You're very welcome, good sir. You're very welcome. And I literally had to do something that I normally don't do when going through a certain point at the airport. I had to take off my vest and I had to take off my belt along with my phone case. Now, every time I step through that metal detector, I never, ever have had to take off my vest. I never had to take off my belt or my phone case. I always show them my badge. These idiots know who I am. And when you're working at the airport, your badge must be shown at all times. It has to be. Otherwise, Port Authority police is going to nail you to the ground. Plain and simple, period. And I had a conversation with one of the TSA officers. And see, this is what makes it so bad. I'm not the only man that has had problems with these so-called officers. And these are officers that I've never seen before. They may have came from another terminal or whatever rock they crawl from under, they need to go back. Because the fact is, they're using their position to inflate their narcissistic ego. See? But it gets better because I had a conversation with a TSA officer who knows me very well. I mean, she has known me ever since I started working at the airport. And every time I go through that metal detector, she looks up and she sees me and she waves me on through. But she and I had a conversation and she said, you know what? I completely understand, she said in so many words, where you're coming from, because even I myself have had to get away from them because I know my mouth. You know, it's bad when you have other officers that's already sick and tired of you and you haven't even been there a whole doggone week. And see, I keep preaching. I keep pontificating among the masses who has ears and will hear me, or rather who will listen to me when I say that this war between man and woman is not going to end well. It's not going to end well. It's not. It's not going to end well at all. It's going to end very, very tragically if we do not stop acting so foolishly. Masculine females is not attractive. Masculine females are penis softeners. I'm going to say it again. masculine women are indeed penis softeners. And just like feminine dudes will have a woman to dry up quicker than a desert. And see, when you have people that refuses to talk about the issues that now plagues this society, they just expect for you to take the abuse and to accept the abuse. Well, the reality is you have a lot of people that just aren't going to take it. It's not going to happen at all. Let's see. Brother James says, I had a problem last year with my former employer. So I decided to leave the position as lead security. So now I am working for my parents, being security for them both. I applaud you, sir. I applaud you. And Brother Sam, okay. Brother Sam James. Yes, sir. Well, once again, Brother Sam, it is an honor to meet you, sir. And I must say that your parents are wonderful people. And I have the utmost respect for them. The Baron says, not at all attract. No, it's not. It's a turnoff. A masculine woman and a feminine dude or male is not attractive at all. And I want you to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. I will say unto you again that in all sincerity, that in all truth, the reality is we are living in a weaponized society. We are. We are living in a weaponized society. That means everything that could be against us is against us. Brother Barron says, yes, they are. Yes, they are wonderful people. I'm going to be honest with you. There are very, very, very few people in this world that I respect, because most people have taught me not to have any respect for them at all, by their behavior, by their actions, by the way they think, their personal belief system, the whole shebang. But I can honestly say that the entire James family are the very few people I have the utmost respect for in my almost 40 years of life. And I don't say that, and I don't brag about anybody. You must have earned my respect for me to say such things. And that is the truth with the James family. Brother Barron says, at my first job, I have problems with the women in the office, like they are in charge. See, That's a mental illness that they had, Brother Barron. It is. There's a meme that says, ma'am, sir, act your wage. Act your wage. And apparently at your first job, these female failures who are acting like they are in charge, guess what? They need a reality check. And you know something else? Eventually, they are going to get that reality check. And when that reality check hits, it is going to pimp slap them so hard. They won't know what hit them. But you say, Yosef, what you're going through, man, that's light stuff. Listen, no matter how minute or how insignificant it may be to you, the reality is it should not be happening, especially if the officers know for a fact who I am. And they know that I know the proper protocol before entering the metal detector. I don't carry weapons with me when I go to the airport. Are you kidding me? And in order for anybody to work at the airport, you cannot be a felon. Bottom line, you have to have a squeaky clean record, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you don't have a squeaky clean record, you cannot work at the airport. Because remember something, the airports, that's federal. It's federal, period. It is a federal. It's a federal position. I concur, Lady Marla. She says it's an awesome family. Yes, they are. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Baron says that's why I send their silly tails home and return with doctor's notations. And the James family says is a must. Oh, yes. You must have a squeaky clean record. You cannot be a felon. Plain and simple. Plain, pure, and simple. But it gets worse. It's much worse for me having to deal with the eroding psychological apparatus as well as their psychological hygiene, as well as their emotional apparatus and hygiene, which continues to erode because of this erroneous philosophy, this feminist manifesto. See, people have got to learn to stop looking at the surface meaning of things. You understand me? Stop looking at the surface meaning of things and look beneath. Go deep, go deeper, dig deeper. Why? Why do they behave like this? Why are they like this? Why? Remember, people act their genetics, and because of their ecology or their environment, those two factors determines the outcome of any person's behavior, especially if they are easily persuaded to be a jackass. But it gets worse. A few weeks ago, one of my youngest nephews, who works at a supermarket here in Brooklyn, was falsely accused of sexual misconduct. That's right. See, it's not just grown men that is being falsely accused of sexual misconduct. It's young men as young as 20 years of age. He was falsely accused, and my nephew was telling me about this. He was falsely accused of sexual misconduct, and the false report that was reported to the upper management of this supermarket came from a random customer that said that they heard my nephew and some chick having sex in one of the bathrooms. We all know good and hell well that is a damn lie from the pit of hell, folks. Oh, but it gets worse, because not only was my nephew falsely accused of sexual misconduct, but he was also falsely accused of what these humanoids call being homophobic. Because apparently there was a transgender individual that came into the supermarket one day. And once again, my nephew was falsely accused of what they call homophobic. Talking about, my nephew said that he threatened this transgender, this he, she. If it comes anywhere near me, I'm going to knock the hell out of it. First off, as my nephew was encapsulating this crisis that he was having professionally, I knew from Jump Street it was a load of bull. Because my nephew is one of the few honorable young people that we have in this world. And I'm not saying that because he's my nephew. I'm saying this because it is the truth. My nephew is an honorable young man. He's an honorable young man. This is my nephew's belief. Look, he understands that people are going to be people. And he himself does not subscribe to what you humanoids call an alternative lifestyle. He said it flat out. He said, listen, if they want to live like that, that's on them. I don't do that. And I'm not going to even threaten anybody. And brother, and the James family, it has it spot on. They are to destroy him while he's young and black. They're not going to destroy my nephew. As long as Yosef X is around, that ain't going to happen. And you're right, brother Barron. That isn't good. That ain't good at all. No, it is not. It's not good. Not at all. But see, once again, this is the reason why I continue to say that we are living in a weaponized society, a weaponized culture. And unfortunately, I had to be slapped in the face, especially when I had to deal with my situation at the airport. And you can tell all of these idiots, I'm talking about the workers at my nephew's job, when the false report began to circulate, right? I forgot my thought. What did I just say? Because that observation, it just came out of nowhere and I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I think I remember. When the false report began to circulate concerning my nephew, his co-workers began to act indifferent towards him. But then when they found out later on that the report was false, then they started coming around him again. But virtually, my nephew told all of his co-workers, man, go fuck yourselves. Excuse the language. Because if you didn't have my back then, why are you talking to me now? No. Take your ass on this way. And you know what? Who could blame it? See, this is the era of fake, phony people, or should I say sheeple, that are easily persuaded. Thank you. Oh, yeah. And as my nephew was telling me of this false report that was going on, you're right. My nephew does have if he chose to. I'm gonna see if he wants to do it, because he certainly has. He got a case. It's a lawsuit against that company. Oh yeah, it is certainly a lawsuit. Certainly, and I hope he sued. I would. Lady Marla says, I never heard you speak about his terrible conduct. They're trying to dress him up in a frightening mindset. It's exactly what they're doing. Exactly. Because that report may follow him through his life. I'm going to make sure that my nephew sues that supermarket. I damn sure am. I'm going to make sure he sues them. And see, why do you all think I act the way I do? See, here's the deal. Here's the truth. The truth is, I know how outrageous I have been in the past. I know how controversial I am as a podcaster as well as a minister. I get it. But in these mainstream mega churches, they refuse to address the social ills and the societal ills that unfortunately plagues this country. And there have been very, 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 very few that has the testicular fortitude to tell the truth and to tell it like a TI is. And of course, we all know why. It's for these various reasons. Number one, it's all about the money. They want to make sure that they get paid. And I'm talking about these pulpit pimps. They want to get paid to keep people in the dark. And they always tell people what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. And they themselves are in somebody's hip pocket. I'm talking about these corrupt politicians. Oh, and here's more. And these kleptogamists, they want to make sure that they can continue on pandering for women that these women have no interest in them whatsoever at all. So, and that's why you have certain social media sites, if not all of them, like Facebook, like YouTube, that will deliberately shadow ban truth tellers and truth seekers because they're doing everything that they can to keep the truth from being presented. How's that working out for you? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and I know for a fact that it's being controlled by the same people. I get it. I get it. It's being controlled by the same people. I get it. Believe me, I get it. They say that the United States is um, is the Matrix. I say the United States is just part of the Matrix. It's not the entire Matrix. The entire Matrix is really the entire world. You not realize the kind of times that we are living in, folks? We are on the verge. Listen good. We are on the verge of complete collapse, economically speaking. The Great Reset financially is about to take place, meaning that the American dollar, the euro, the yen, the pound, and all of the rest of the worldwide currencies is getting ready to be consolidated into one currency. Because after a while, you ain't going to be able to buy, sell, trade, nothing without a radio frequency identification chip, either in your head or in your hand. And the James family's laughing at what I said. Yeah, they don't have the kahunas, the intestinal fortitude, let alone the testicular fortitude. They don't have it. I don't want to make the mastermind. Who gives a crap about massa? Yeah. And people fail. And people fail to realize this. See, I'm going to tell you something. I come from a family that don't mind rocking the boat. My father was a well-known resident of Jackson, Mississippi at one time. He would go to the city council meetings every single chance that he got. Whether it was held during the day or whether it was held at night. He was there, front and center. And he would give those city council members all kinds of hell. My father had no filter. Neither did my mother. Both my parents were straight, no chaser. They didn't give a shit. Pardon my French. Whether somebody was offended or not. Right was right. Truth was truth. That's where I get that from. And I did a little more research. Come to find out, I had a lot of people in my family long before I was born that had the same mindset. Because legend has it, my family, back during the early 20th century, long before I was born, they confronted the Ku Klux Klan. When the Ku Klux Klan came, and they confronted my family on my family's property. And guess what? All of my relatives had rifles in their hands. It was about 7 or 8 of them. And they had it pointed right at the Ku Klux Klan. And they had their fingers on the hammer. You best believe it. Remember I said a few moments ago that we act our genetics? But not only do we act our genetics, we, I believe, are also walking, talking replicas of the Most High and our ancestors. We are echoes of our ancestors. We come from many generations, good or bad. But that's another subject for another time. Yeah, I got to poke at the truth. I got to. I got to continue to poke the truth. I have to. And Brother Barron, you already know I'm going to speak my mind. You already know that. You know me well enough to know your pastor's going to speak his mind and don't give a damn who gets offended. As long as it is the truth, as long as it is the right thing. See? Who cares about being offended? Facts over feelings over here, ladies and gentlemen. Facts over feelings over here. I'm going to say the James family because sometimes it's Elder James, sometimes it's Sister James, and now it's Brother Sam. So I'm going to say the James family says, if you're going to do something, do it with a purpose and you may see results. That's the end game. That's the end goal. That is the goal. That is the goal. And see, I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes it gets very, very discouraging. Sometimes. I don't get discouraged often. Not anymore. Because you get sick and tired of studying, doing research, using all of the energy to study and prepare. And then you regurgitate what you learned to your people, or people, period, right? And then instead of these jackasses getting better, these idiots get worse. So you know what I've started doing? Since I've always known for a fact, and I continue to accept even more that I'm not for everybody, I'm just speaking to my tribe. I am consulting with my tribe in spite of these idiots shadow banning me. Well, pardon me, it is now 17 minutes past the hour of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you that are listening on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, the Yosef Isaiah Benjamin Network. And on Facebook, like, share, and tag your family and your friends. Our Cash App ID is $ Hidden One Truth. That's $ Hidden One Truth. And of course, they're going to shadow ban all truth tellers because the fact is they want to keep everybody asleep. They want to keep everybody in the dark. That's really what they desire to do. When they shadow ban people, all they're saying is, listen, you a threat. You a threat. That's what you is. You's a threat. You need to learn how to stay in line. My response to them is the bird. Cowards who are afraid to rock the boat are not history makers. They're not revolutionary thinkers. They're not radical. They're not. Rebels are history makers, trailblazers, not those that are all nice and docile and all that. Please, please, just stop. Just stop. What we're getting ready to do right now, we're getting ready to take a brief, very brief intermission. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation. I hope you all are enjoying our dialogue for the night. And we're going to continue exploring the weaponization of men being discriminated against in the workplace. So we're going to have a brief intermission. And then when we come back, we're going to continue our dialogue. Hang tight, folks. We will be back in a few moments. All right, folks, we are back. And I had a chance to look at some of your observations while we had our brief a brief intermission. And I believe it's Brother Sam that's saying this is his first time on the internet, and it is a powerful conversation. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. For those faithful few, the faithful few who does listen to me and have been listening to me for a long time, they will tell you that I am one that will always tell you what you need to know. They will tell you firsthand, I will always tell you what you need to know. I'm not going to always tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need. Is that my trash talking buddy of mine? How you doing, Nadia? Thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you are doing well. And I hope baby Ryan is doing well and the rest of your family doing well too. Yeah, Brother Barron can attest to this. What you see is what you get. Or in this case, what you hear is what you get. I really mean no harm. But when it comes down to certain topics, I'm very, very, very passionate about it. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't have passion anymore. They confuse emotionalism with passion, conviction. Why he gotta be so emotional? Why do you have to be so dumb like a box of rocks? Why do you have to be that dumb? But I want to delve deeper into this situation when it comes down to men being discriminated against, especially in the workforce. See, this all stems back this stems all the way back to when the era of feminism really began to kickstart. This anti-man, this anti-boy, this anti-masculinity campaign, calling masculinity toxic. No, dumbass. The lack of it is what is toxic. And believe me, there is certainly a lack of the lack of masculinity, I should say. See? I have another witness. That's Lady Marla. She says always, and he is not a co-pilot when having discussions with others. Absolutely not. I co-pilot for no one. See, let me talk about what's happening in the workplace. Then I'm gonna share some more of myself with you guys. Because of this toxic ideology, this erroneous philosophy, this feminist manifesto. You're welcome, Nadia. My pleasure. Anytime. This is the reason why that we continue to have such a damaging relationship between man she started. What's this? Who's starting to act like me? Who's that? Who is she? Who is she starting to act? Who is she? Who that? See, because of the feminist manifesto, the relationship, the relationship between man and woman is doggone near no repair. It can't be repaired. It's getting to the point where there is not going to be any room for reconciliation. Irreconcilable differences. See? Oh, Lady Marla starting to act like me? Nothing wrong with that. But see, the fact is, you have to understand, the feminists, they started this nonsense. Let me just tell you or give you just a glimpse, right, as to how bad it really is. I just want to give y'all just a glimpse, okay, as to how bad this really is. Because here's the deal. The deal is this. They wanted to be equal with a man. They foolishly began to think that they are equal to a man. They also began to foolishly think that they could do things as well as a man. In a lot of instances, they began to really think that they are better than a man. And that is where they have things all twisted, all messed up, pardon me, and bottom line, they shot themselves in the foot. Especially black women. The majority of them. The majority of them. Not all, not all. Listen, the very same people that are saying, not all of us, they're the same ones that have wigs that look like two-tone possums. And they're too damn lazy to go ahead and go to the beauty salon and get their hair done themselves or to do their hair themselves, so they decide to get a wig that look like two-tone possums in the bayous of Louisiana or the swamps of Louisiana or Mississippi. It's the truth. These are they who will say, not all of us who hurt you. Hit dogs always holler. Hit dogs always holler. See? But the deep divide, it started off personally in marriages, relationships, and it's spewed over to the professional workforce. Listen, as quiet as it is kept, even lesbian marriages has decreased. I want to say by roughly 25, 30, 35%, maybe 40. Even women are sick and tired of women. I had a lesbian tell me a few months ago, Yosef, I'm sick of these hoes. I said, what? She said, Yosef, I'm sick of these hoes. I said, wait a minute now. You tired of hoes. Now, mind you, the dialogue that she engaged me in, this lady's a lesbian. Got more waves than me. I'm a cue ball. But that's besides the point. She told me flat out that she is sick and tired of these hoes. She told me flat out that these hoes get on her damn nerves. That's right. I'm sick of these hoes. All they want you to do is give, give, give. And they take, take, take. I'm sick of them. That's why I broke up with my girlfriend, she said. I'm single. There was another lesbian that said she was going back to being a heterosexual woman. See, these are kind of things that people are not going to report in the mainstream. That's why you got to come to podcasters like myself, the Iceman, Brother KJ4, shout out to you, sir. And other podcasters that are defending the very personhood of not just the man and the boy, but even the traditional woman, the so-called pick-me's. Oh, you ain't nothing but a pick-me. Well, the fact is, ma'am, you actually are the real pick-me, because a pick-me is a toxic female that wants attention. And when you find a woman that is a traditional woman, that's wife material, that is in a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship, or they are engaged in, or rather they're engaged to be married, you're jealous because that so-called pick-me is living the life your miserable, toxic ass wish you could be living. And to all of these lazy, good-for-nothing, toxic females, I'm going to quote the late, great Rick Rude. What I like to have right now is for all you fat, out of shape sweat hogs to move out the way and feast your eyes on what a real man looks like. Listen, I'm a fan of wrestling. Well, old school wrestling, not this new stuff that they got on. I'm not too fond of that now. Brother Barron says, laugh my ass off. Yeah, man. The James family says, and rub their nasty ass puss. Yeah. Yep. The James family also says, even in the church settings, they were trying to tell me about my life. And if I humble myself, God will give me a wife. Listen, you know what? Let me say that. Let me piggyback off of that right quick. Let me say this right quick. Let me say this. Let me say this. They were gaslighting you, bro. Brother Sam. They were gaslighting you. And the reason why they were gaslighting you, as well as trying to guilt trip you, is because you're a man of moral integrity. You're not only a man of moral integrity, but you are a man that has standards. And because, sir, you have standards, the rest of these toxic female failures and losers, they can't match and add up to your standards. So they will use shaming tactics such as this. They will use gaslighting tactics, like this. They will use ad hominem attacks such as this. Brother Sam, I like you, man. Brother Sam says, so I asked her, was she married? And she replied, no. And I said, how long have you been humbling yourself? Bro, listen. Listen. Brother Sam, let me tell you something, bro. That female, that female is desperate. That, sir, is called desperation. See, this is the ill effect of feminism. It's a sad state of affairs. Truthfully. That was desperation, sir. It was. No doubt about it. That was desperation. And see, you can tell a toxic female when they're desperate. Ad hominem attacks, trying to shame you. And only the Almighty knows how long it's been that she's had some pipe too. Let me tell you something. These females are lonely. They're miserable. They're desperate. They're sexually frustrated. You know, that's how they are. See, it's spewing over. It's been spewing over. It went from it being in the personal relationships, now professional, now in the religious community. They're desperate. They are desperate. Seriously. They're desperate. It's sad. It's sad. Let me see. Brother Barron was laughing at me. Nah. Brother Sam says she is not my type of woman at all. In the church at that. Let me ask you a question, Brother Sam. How does she look? Was she easy on the eyes, or was she a struggle face? Was she a struggle bot? And see, let me say this too. Church women, they're some of the biggest freaks in the world. They are. Church women are some of the freakiest women in the world. They are. I've been in the church all my life. I know their psyche. I know their psychological apparatus. I know their psychological hygiene. Listen, quiet as is kept. Church folk, or church women in particular, they love themselves some good preaching. And they also love themselves a talented preacher. A talented preacher will always make that horny female wet. Brother Sam said, man, she was fat, looked funky, with 6 kids. she even she even handed me her number and said, call her while I was in town. You know what? I'm going to talk about one day. I'm going to revisit the subject, the audacity of swamp donkeys. I am. Excuse me. How much time I got? All right, I got about 14 minutes. I'm going to talk about the audacity of swamp donkeys, poverty-faced critters, struggle bot. Because there's a reason why that she did that, bro. There's a reason why. Oh man, your dad was preaching? Oh man. Boy, she did this when your father was preaching? Oh man. Oh boy. You sure right, Lady Marla, Lord. A moment of silence. Let me do it right. I see what I'm gonna have to start doing. See, y'all gonna make me start I tell you, Lord have mercy. Sheesh. Boy, I tell you, good Lord. Lord have mercy. Y'all just gave me my new thesis for next Sunday night. The audacity of swamp donkeys. I'm serious. Y'all just gave me my new subject. And Brother Sam, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you the credit. You just gave me my subject. I'm gonna revisit it. Because I didn't know what I was gonna talk about next Sunday night. Brother Sam, I give you the credit for giving me the gem of the thesis for next week. The audacity of swamp donkeys. The audacity of poverty-faced critters and struggle bots. The audacity of the brand new breed of Decepticons called struggle bots. Let me stay on something. I got a few minutes. I'm running out of time. Yeah. Let's see. Nadia says, that's how these ugly women be all over Baron when he be singing. That is a horrifying sight to envision. Unfortunately, however, it is a reality. But next Sunday night, See, here's the thing. There's a teaching moment behind this. You have to learn and have to study the psyche of the modern day man and woman, because their apparatus psychologically as well as emotionally and spiritually too, it continues to erode. It continues to erode. But I'm going to delve into that more next week. But for the few more, I got about 10 minutes left. Let me say this as I close. The condition of the relationship between man and woman in the workplace now is going to get increasingly worse. It's going to come to a very, very violent head, because more and more men are dropping the chains of inner restraint. And what's getting ready to also happen is you're going to have more men that's going to become more and more violent, and they're going to start going upside the head of these toxic dames. Seriously. It's going to come to a dangerous head, a violent one, a bloody head. It's coming. Let me read this observation. Brother Sam says, so true, brother. We were in 7 cities, and women said their homes are open to me and my father to stay as long as they. Brother Sam, I'm going to tell you something. Now, before I make my observation, let me just make this brief disclaimer. This is no disrespect to your wonderful mother or your father, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And this is reality. More than likely, right? And I'm not saying this because it's 100% true. I'm just making a scientific assumption as to why she said this, or she gave you and your father the invitation. And this also coincides with the discrimination. Let me collect my thoughts here, because I got a billion and one thoughts that's racing through my mind right now. Let me say this. The reason why that she extended that invitation to you and your father is because of this. Let's assume this. The women that gave you and your father the invitation, they don't have no men in their life. Okay? And chances are, those women that gave the invitation to you and your father, those women wanted to sleep with both you and your father. Okay? Those women wanted both you and your father to run a train on them. Okay? Now, Almighty Yahuwah forbid. Almighty Yah forbid you and your father take them up on their offer, right? That leaves the door wide open for you and your father to be falsely accused like my nephew was. Your father's reputation as an honorable minister is tarnished in a matter of seconds. Your reputation as an honorable man is tarnished in a matter of seconds. See, we're living in an era where people are bearing false witness against their neighbor. Listen good. They're bearing false witness against their neighbor. And this is also a matter of public record. These feminists have also said that they didn't give a damn whether a man is innocent or guilty of wrongdoing. They are going to take them down. This is a matter of public record. They went on record in public saying this. I want you to hear me. This is what is happening. And this is what continues to ensue. Okay? And you and your father are very intelligent men, because you and your father just saved yourselves a lifetime of despair because of a possible false witness. Elder James saved himself and his marriage to your mother, Brother Sam, and you saved your reputation by going to hotels. You gentlemen are no dummies. And continue to stay in the hotels. Because say when you go to hotels, you're saving your marriage, Elder James. You're saving your reputation as well as a minister and as a man. Brother Sam, you're saving your reputation as a man. So you're doing the right things. That way your ministry, Elder James, is still intact. Your reputation remains intact. See? That's how it is. Right, Lady Marla, this is a sad situation. This is a terrible ordeal. It is, you know what? Y'all have heard me say this time and time again. We are living in some life-threatening and soul-threatening challenges. Please understand the times that we are in. Now, I got like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to go over my time by about 5 minutes. But let me say this as I close. Toxic women Toxic women have made it so difficult But not only has these toxic women made it difficult, some of the women that will make honorable women, they've made it difficult too. You say, well, wait a minute. How did they make it difficult? They didn't open their mouths before it got to this point, to this level, that the deep divide between man and woman, personally and professionally, more and more men do not want to be bothered with women on any level at all. And it's the truth. And because now they did not take up because they didn't take up for the honorable men, this is the end result. And I'm going to encourage all men, especially young men, if you find yourself being falsely accused at your job, at your place of employment, for sexual misconduct, get a lawyer. No, I'm serious. Get a lawyer. Find a lawyer and sue your job. See, we as brothers, we as men, we got to learn to fight back against this system. We have to. We have to. Because it doesn't make any sense at all for us to continue to suffer in silence. We can't continue to suffer in silence. We can't do it. Bottom line, what Lady Marla is saying is the same thing that Dr. King said. Let me quote Dr. King by saying this, quote, "There comes a time when silence is betrayal," end quote. Lady Marla says because they were on the women also, they were on the women's side, regardless of the wrongdoing. So this war between man and woman that has spewed over into the workplace, it ain't gonna end well for them. It ain't gonna end well at all. You know why it ain't gonna end well? Because I'm gonna tell you something. There will surely will be casualties. You have to make sure you won't be one of those casualties. And this blasted system loves pandering to females. Yeah, they do. They love pandering to toxic females. I say fight fire with fire. In the case of my nephew, sue him and get every dime that you can. And the best way to destroy anybody, one of the most effective ways to get things done, hit them pocketbooks, hit them wallets, hit them bank accounts, hit them where it hurts. You hit them financially. You hit them economically. That's what you do. That is exactly what you do. Hit them in the pockets. Hit them. Hit them, hit them, hit them. Hit them where it hurts. That's what you do. You hit them where it hurts. Hit them in the pocket. See? Yes, they do. They want to see the black men locked up, or 6 feet buried. Yeah. But see, here's the problem with that. Before a lot of men, melanated men, will be locked up or put in 6 feet deep, a lot of these females are going to meet that fate long before a lot of these men do. So the fact is, I'm going to say again, it is not going to end well. Ain't going to end well. Not at all. It ain't going to end well at all. You know why it's not going to end well? I'm going to tell you why. It's not going to end well because instigators that always stir up trouble, they always wind up having a terrible conclusion, a terrible end, a terrible demise. See? Finally tonight, folks, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to bid y'all good evening. The psychological apparatus, now let's start from the top. The spiritual, mental, and emotional, and as well as physical, continues to erode because they are the byproducts of inferior breeding, known as dysgenic breeding, because also of their ecology and their environments. This is the reason why that a lot of men are not afraid of walking away from women in the workplace, personal relationships, professional relationships, or otherwise. Hell, I've already said it. Lesbians are sick and tired of lesbians. Lesbians are sick and tired of women. Women are sick and tired of women. What does that tell you? We are witnessing the unraveling and the undoing of these dames. And if you think things are bad now, guess what? It's going to get a hell of a lot worse. I rest my case. Well, folks, it's been a ball, but the clock on the wall says that's all for now. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for listening to my commentary as I pontificate upon you to get you to understand what kind of enemy that we're up against. Join me next Sunday as I discuss with you the audacity of ugly people. I'm Yosef X. That's been my 2 cents. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Like, share, and tag your family and friends on Facebook. My Cash App ID is $Hidden1Truth. Until next time, I'm Yosef X. Y'all have a good one. See y'all in a few days. Peace. I'm out.